David Braley Athletic and Recreation Center for the second half of our doubleheader of volleyball today in the OCAA. Saw the ladies team defeat the Sheridan Bruins 3 sets to none, Harrison, and I am Matt Janger along with my co-host Harrison Myers. And Harrison, we're back here for the second part. I missed our opening broadcast of men's volleyball. What did you see from them in their first game that you want to see them improve on? What did you like? What are your overall thoughts with this matchup against the Sheridan Bruins?
Yeah, thank you, Matt, again. In the first game, obviously, they ended up winning 3-2. It was a back-and-forth affair. And in the final set, in the overtime period, the Mountaineer men were able to pull away. And really, Dean Zakari, one of their better players, played, I think, the entire game. Really impressive. And, of course, it was Brecken Morrison who had his fair share of unbelievable moments in the second set, especially, where he basically, I think, went 10 serves, got a bunch of aces. The crowd was jeering him a lot of the times, trying to get him off his game. It did not work.
Yeah, and after that, unfortunately, they are coming off of a loss, 3-1 to Cambrian in their first away contest. So drawing 1-1 on the season, coming up against a Sheridan team who hasn't found a way to get into the win column today. Last season, Sheridan finished with a 4-14 record. That's 4 wins behind Mohawk's season, 8-10. So although Mohawk did perform a little bit better than Sheridan in the 2024-25 season, surely both of these squads will be looking to place a lot higher in the OCA standings. As we get a look at some stats, obviously Mohawk with the 1-1 record of 5th, Sheridan sitting down at the bottom of the West Division in 9th. And overall, I think this one could be tight. I think, obviously, based on what we've seen so far, you give it to Mohawk if you're the odds makers, but you never know what can happen. Just like we saw in the ladies' game, no set is over until that final 25th point is scored. So it's kind of anyone's match, if you ask me, Harrison.
Yeah, for sure. You know, obviously the Bruins, starting off the season 0-2, they would love to get their first win on the board. And for the Mountaineers, you definitely want to get that win back. You want to continue, 5th place, good start to the season, get a positive record, but it'll be an interesting matchup for sure.
Absolutely. We will be having our starting lineups announced momentarily. Stick with us. We will be back with you shortly following that.
Today's OCAA match between the visiting Sheridan Bruins and your Mohawk Mountaineers. Mohawk College is a proud member of the Ontario Colleges Athletic Association and as a member adhere to the fair play policy as outlined by the OCAA. Mohawk College staff and the game officials have the right to remove any spectator exhibiting unsportsmanlike, rude, and/or objectionable behavior, as well as foul language during the match. Please cheer in a professional and sporting manner. Mountaineer fans, it's now time to get loud for your starters. Alabama from Hamilton, Ontario, number 5, Ben Puskis. Outside hitter from Hamilton, Ontario, number 8, Josh Taylor. Also at libero from Markham, Ontario, number 9, Jordan Ho. At left side from Burlington, Ontario, number 10, Dean Zakari. At middle from Guelph, Ontario, number 11, Jesse Smith. Your right side from Oakville, Ontario, number 15, Brecken Morrison. An outside hitter from St. Catharines, Ontario, number 17, Alex Jurak. And at middle from Markham, Ontario, number 19, Andrew Magillas. The head coach for the Mohawk Mountaineers is Brad McClure.
Service, if I'm not mistaken.
Great intro, though. Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. Fired up. The production of those intros and the starting lineup is always done superbly here at the D-Bark. Always a highlight of doing the pre-show. As we get the whistle, and we will get ready to kick things off here. We'll see if the men can capture some of the magic that their lady counterparts on the previous matchup were able to do.
They'll look for their second straight win at home. Still yet to lose, obviously, just one game, but why not get a second and continue that win streak?
Absolutely. We'll see if these sets, like the ladies, kind of start out a bit back and forth, very tight. We can kind of wait and see if one team jumps ahead with big momentum swings. As number 15, Brecken Morrison, who you highlighted in the pregame, Harrison, is going to have the first chance at the service line here for the men's Mountaineers squad.
Get used to that routine, because that's how he starts every single one of his serves.
Able to dig that. Tran there trying to return that for the Bruins. Morrison setting up Taylor there. And that one will not stay in the zone, so the Mountaineers pick up the first point of set number 1, and Brecken Morrison will return to the line.
Yeah, I love it. He wipes off his shoes, and a little bit of a double spin, and then a high elevation for the serve, and wow!
And that one, I mean, you couldn't really ask for a more pinpointed, precise serve than that, Harrison.
I mean, right on cue. You know,
Right,
I said all these
cue.
great things, and he continues to do great things.
So absolutely stellar start to this one for Brecken Morrison, putting the Mountaineers up 2-0 early. We'll see if he can continue this streak. Serve comes. Sheridan will just look to get it over the net. Over to Morrison. Return from Sheridan, blocked. And Taylor blocked that one, but unfortunately it took an unfortunate angle, as I believe it was Morrison there who was diving to try to get a piece of that. Yeah, just couldn't quite find it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough play. Give effort anytime any player dives, showing how much they want it, and Morrison just out of reach for him.
Andrew Boney trying to get the Sheridan Bruins on to a bit of a streak here. Morrison there with the dig. Blocked by Sheridan. Josh Taylor trying to put it over. Oh, and a cheeky little touch there from Jesse Smith to find a nice little soft spot. Nice, beautiful finesse play early on.
Jeez, it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's like he perfectly, like Swiss cheese, really.
It was like a gentle little love tap, but it did just what it needed to do there. As now we have number 8, Josh Taylor, serving. Return by Sheridan coming. Blocked. Strong block there by number 17, Alex Jurak. Getting things going here.
Seen
with
a lot
nice
of strong
response.
blocks. A lot of strong blocks early. I mean, we can hear that, Matt, even with these headphones on. It is loud.
Absolutely. Taylor with another serve. That one well outside of the zone. So now we will have number 22, Jason Tran, getting his first chance to serve here. Down 4-2. Tran with the serve. Taylor over to Morrison. Jurak, able to be recovered by Sheridan. And that one is not nearly close to being in, but an absolutely good recovery. Bruins could not get a clean setup, and now Mohawk extends their lead 5-2. And Andrew Majerus attempting to get a block there, but not able to get quite enough of that, as we'll see a replay of that. As Jurak was not ready for what came his way. Now we have number 19, Daniel Sass, at the service line. Taylor to Morrison to Majerus, and that's a beautiful kill there from Andrew Majerus, getting himself involved in the game early on here.
Just another reason why we're on this desk, Matt, right there.
Absolutely. Would not want to find myself on the other end of that one.
Absolutely not. A missile.
Now Jurak here with his first chance to serve in this one. Cannot find a corner. And number 7, Zach Ludwig, is going to check into the Sheridan side for Govin Kennedy. Majerus returning that one. And that one, a well-hit ball from Cohen Reimer at the feet of Josh Taylor.
Good bait and switch there to find the open space and get the Mountaineer defenders jumping at the wrong time.
Absolutely. And so far, back and forth action. Only 1 point separates these teams, with Mohawk up 6-5. Morrison sets up Majerus again after Taylor got the dig. So not a lot of rallying so far, a lot of clean, well-placed kills on either side, and this one's going back and forth. Mohawk back up 2 points, 7-5.
Yeah, definitely back and forth so far, but doesn't seem to be a feeling out period. More feeling out period for the defense.
Absolutely. As Ho got just enough of that.
Wow. What a block by Jordan Ho there. Diving to his right. Looked like he only got one arm on it as well, one hand. And unbelievable.
And that was all he needed there. That's now Dean Zakari serving for the Mountaineers, team captain. And we will have a foul called on the Mountaineers.
Majerus there was out of bounds, or at least I think too close to the net.
So we will have number 11, that's Connor Thompson, serving for the Sheridan Bruins. Thompson. And he finds a corner there and will draw this one even. 8-8 with a beautifully placed serve. Wow, just caught enough of the line.
It's always a 50-50 chance on those tight corner serves.
Excuse me, that makes it 8-7. Thompson with another serve. And yet another beautifully placed bit of service that caught a bit of the net to kind of turn into a bit of a knuckler. Or excuse me, missed the zone, excuse me, that's what I meant to say there. Caught as Majerus is at the line. Puts it over. Jurak to Majerus to Josh Taylor with a nice little finesse touch. Recovered by Sheridan, who finds a sweet spot in that defense, and that was an absolute bullet, Harrison.
Yeah, that was as good as it gets. Again, a lot of these smashes we've seen have been hit really hard, but the accuracy is on display. I mean, these players are scouting out the defense and finding the open areas.
Fielding with the serve to Morrison to Jurak, and he will find a lucky bounce off of a defender there going for the block. That was number 19, Daniel Sass, who had the unfortunate deflection go off of his forearm and resulted in a point for the Mountaineers. And now Morrison is back at the service line.
You can see from the replay the decision by Jurak to fake out the power and go for a soft, accurate touch.
A tough serve is just handled enough to get back into play. Taylor with a devastating kill there. Seek and destroy, that one was deadly, as there is tons of power on display from both the Mountaineers and the Sheridan Bruins.
I think he's trying to send a message with that one early in this one. Intimidate. Obviously, we saw in the warm-ups, both teams were able to get some smashes against each other.
And Brecken Morrison is going to get a nice little ace there, as Jason Tran could not handle an absolute laser of a serve. Take another look at that. In the right place. Did not have what it took, as Brecken Morrison is starting to build up a bit of a run of points here for this Mountaineer squad. We'll see what this one does. Way outside. It's a fine line when you're hitting with such power. And that time, he does not find a way to get that into the field of play. Now Andrew Bonney back at the service line for Sheridan with a soft one. Ho gets that over to Taylor, who keeps it into play. And that time Tran will atone for his previous error as he gets a nice kill there. As Josh Taylor couldn't quite get in front of that enough.
Big 2 points for the Bruins. We're starting to lose control, maybe down 4.
Jurak gets under that one. And a nice setup for Jesse Smith.
Again, it's the bait and switch as Mountaineers playing a bit of mind games. You see, they probably thought the Bruins that Morrison was going to be laying that up for someone else, but the quick release from Smith on that kill.
Josh Taylor serving for your Mountaineers. Catches too much of the net there, won't make it over. That'll keep this a 2-point game. As, like you said, Harrison, looked like Sheridan might be letting this one slip away, and they've certainly pulled it back into a really tight contest. Jason Tran now with his second opportunity at the service line here. See what he has to offer. Josh Taylor gets underneath that one over to Morrison, and that was number 10. That was Dean Zakari with a nice kill there. Got just enough of a defender to slow down that ball trajectory in the perfect spot. And now Jesse Smith will be serving. And a beautiful block there from a couple of Mountaineers frontliners. Jurak to Morrison. And another back-to-back point for the Mountaineers, as that time it was Dean Zakari.
A lot of gaps in that Bruins defense so far in this one. The Mountaineers done a good job of finding those spots. We'll see if they can keep it going.
They sure are taking what is given to them. And just like that, a nice response from Cohen Reimer.
Complete opposite this time for the Bruins, finding what the Mountaineers are giving them. And so far, we're basically halfway done through the first set. Back and forth. Mohawk definitely have the first foot through the door, but not over yet.
No one established themselves, as a overwhelming front runner, as Josh Taylor's going to send one off of Tran and out of play, as he is another laser there. That one did not go off Tran. That went off number 19, Daniel Sass. And now we have Jurak to serve for Mohawk. That one hit high into the air. Reimer puts it over. Jurak to Morrison. And a cheeky little touch play by Zakari there. Finds a way to slip that one through a couple of defenders. Actually, was going up against 3 frontliners there for Sheridan, and they take the timeout just to collect themselves. As you said, we're about halfway through. No one's really established themselves as an overwhelming favorite, but I believe we just got an out-of-town score. I missed that one. Was that a Blue Jays out-of-town score update?
They're winning 2-0.
Hey, there you go. So if you got a nice little.
Guess who homers? Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Unbelievable. And Davis Schneider with the home run.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Love to hear it, as I'm sure lots of people are maybe splitting their attention between the Mountaineers and the Blue Jays, but we're glad that you are here with us, as the Mountaineers are, well, we'll have a look at some of their handiwork, which has gotten them their lead so far.
It's the hand movement, Matt. Hand fakes that you can get. You fake the smash. You see the Mountaineers, sometimes they start lower to fake it, and then it's just quick. And I think so far for both teams, the offenses look great. It's the defense, I think, that at times, you know, not early on, but when there's a bit of a rally, kind of gets separated and get a little bit lost.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of too many digs so far, too many saves, but we'll see how that changes into the second half, as maybe some adjustments on the Sheridan side during that timeout. Tran gets a piece of that one. Blocked well. Zakari to Morrison. Finds another soft spot. So that was dirty, honestly.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness. I mean,
a game we've seen nothing but power shots, and we just get another nice little finesse play. We kind of had one from, I believe it was Zakari earlier, and now a beautiful placed bit of finesse volleyball.
it's because you have to respect the power.
Exactly.
And that just happens, and it just feels wrong. See, like you said, it's dirty. It's too much.
So Jurak now with a 6-point lead. Gonna get a chance to serve again. Gets Tran there to Boney. Ho with a high set over to Zakari. Boney. And Vito Forte that time puts it over off of a Mountaineers player. And it sails out of bounds. I believe that was Morrison who it took the deflection off of.
Some intuition coming from the Bruins this time with a nice little touch. Morrison thinking that was going to be smacked to him.
Cohen Reimer now serving it. Morrison to Majiras with a beautiful setup and a beautiful finish from Andrew Majiras, who has had a number of kills early on in this one.
That's a snipe right there, Matt. That is a top corner. Doesn't get any better than that.
Zakari now with the serve from Mohawk. Finds a bit of the net, but gets over. Taylor, though, sends that one down, but not quite into the field of play. But a good reaction there from Josh Taylor.
It was the right idea, man. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously not the right execution, just miss it. But really, in that situation, that's probably what you want to do. Don't set it up. The defense was not ready for that. If it would landed in the zone, it would have definitely been a point for the Mountaineers.
6 inches to the right, it would have been beautiful. Ho to Morrison. To Zakari with another bullet. Cha-ching, and we have yet another Mountaineers team on the verge of winning their first set. We saw a similar storyline play out in the first set of the ladies' game with a close opening few minutes and then a big pull away with Majiras at the line here. Tran to Boney. To Reimer. Majiras to Morrison. Tran sends that one well out of bounds. And the lead extends 21-14.
4 more points now for the Mountaineers. Man, on what has been, ever since the timeout, a bit of a run, like quiet run. Not necessarily everything a kill for points, but they've gone on a pretty dominant scoring run.
It has been sneaky good. Majiras sends that one up to Taylor, and that one, there will be an infraction called on, I believe, the Sheridan Bruins, going in favor of Mohawk there.
I'll tell you what, I think Taylor, from his reaction, he was stunned if that infraction was called on him. He did not know what he would have done wrong there.
We would have seen a crash out, I'm sure, but we will not have to worry about that, as Mohawk now sits at 22 points. Majiras is sending them a beautiful serve over to Tran, who could not handle it.
Sending a message, early in this first set. The message is from the power, and the Mountaineers have a lot of that.
They sure do. Power and a lot of precision. Majiras with another one. Boney over to Tran. That one blocked, but not enough of it off of the hand of Morrison as well, possibly a bit of Jesse Smith. And now we'll have a substitution with Govan Kennedy subbing out for Sheridan.
Big point for the Bruins there to halt some momentum.
Caleb Whiteman coming in and getting the serve. Taylor to Morrison to Taylor, and he does it again. Yet again, a cheeky. So you're right, they're playing a bit of mind games here as we get another look at that. Whoop, nice little touch there. Absolutely perfectly placed. But yeah, switching between absolute bullets and absolute floaters to keep this Bruins team guessing, it's worked very well, and they are now 1 point away from a win, Harrison.
I mean, they're gliding on these floaters now. They're in the air. It's a bit of Air Jordan.
It is a bit like the chosen one in basketball, as we see if the Mountaineers can close this out. Josh Taylor, and he will. Very nice, very nicely done. So you're right, it was a sneaky, sneaky dominant performance that set. I mean, it started off so close, back and forth, points on either side, and then Mohawk just found a way to absolutely capitalize. Took exactly what the Sheridan Bruins defense was giving them. It felt like they make the right decision every time, offensively anyway.
Tell you what, without Josh Taylor was getting up there, it felt like he was up in the air the entire set. I mean, wow, that is some impressive jumping from the Mountaineers as a whole. I mean, it's just, all it is mind games. A couple big smashes that are just, no one's stopping any of those, and then you trick them with a little floater, little flick of the finger.
Absolutely. Josh Taylor having a spectacular first set there. Also, Andrew Majiras with some great serving and a couple of power bombs as well, contributing to the win. Dean Zakari, really the whole starting lineup there played kind of excellent through and through. I mean, they cleaned up their defensive maybe woes that kept it close early on. As we get a look at some of the highlights from that first set.
Yeah, that's a power bomb.
That was a Majiras serve that they could not return there. So we'll see what the storyline is going into the second set. Does Sheridan find a way to respond? Do they come out with any sort of adjustment? I'm not sure what can be done. I mean, it's just great decision making from this Mohawk Mountaineers squad. Every single time they're picking the right form of attack, and it's leading to points. I don't really know what adjustment you can make, but you got to figure something out.
I mean, it was close through the first part of that set. It did seem like the Mountaineers were in control, but it was starting to go like this, and then Mohawk went like this, and they did not look back. Yeah,
the trajectories really separated, like you said, as Sheridan kind of plateaued offensively in the back half, and you can see a lot of emphatic pep talking going on in that Sheridan huddle.
I think that was a golf swing, Matt. I don't know. I mean, he might have been trying to show to hit it in the air, but it looked a bit like a golf swing.
Obviously, the tactical analysis there going over our heads, but nevertheless, we'll get set here for set number 2. Looks like we may have some subs coming in for this Mountaineers squad. I believe that's number 5, Ben Puskas, who started the game, but didn't play much of the back half. You wonder if there'll be any lineup altering going on Sheridan's side. We'll have to see.
Definitely a tactical, changes, obviously. After that, the Mountaineers ran away with it. We talked about how momentum is huge, and they didn't look back once they got the lead and started pulling away. So definitely some tactical changes are needed. I wouldn't say anything major yet. It's only one set, but you want to win the second set. You do not want to go down 2-0. That just puts you in a difficult position.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, especially when you're playing away, you're playing against the Mountaineers team who looks like they appear to be clicking on all cylinders, at least from what we saw going on in that first set. So definitely don't want to find yourself in a hole with a must-win scenario. You want to get yourself even and make this a best-of-3 series.
Yeah, and I want to, obviously, early MVPs, I want to give an honorable mention to Jordan Ho, who had a bunch of great deflections to keep the Mountaineers from giving up points, and obviously Josh Taylor, who was absolutely phenomenal in that.
I think there's a couple new faces into. I think that's Miles Hampson making his first or appearing for the first time rather in this one for Sheridan. as they will kick things off from the service line. That's Andrew Bonney here. Taylor. Morrison decides to do it himself. Is returned by Sheridan. Ho to Taylor. Returned by Bonney. Morrison get a bit of that, and they tried to return it. There were two Mountaineers in the area with Ho rather, pursuing, but unfortunately they couldn't find a way to keep that one alive.
Just probably a bit of miscommunication on the back line as both Jurak and Zakari going for that one.
And that one will go in favor of Mohawk as the block did not stay in bounds there, but a good effort as Sheridan does look like they're coming out with some energy here. Morrison will kick things off, of course. Their number one serviceman, I think it's fair to say. See what he has here. That one catches a bit of the net and finds its way out of bounds and into our area.
Got you, Matt.
Thank you very much, Harrison. We've been in the splash zone, so to speak, quite a bit today as balls have been flying in our direction, but we've stayed safe, kept the equipment safe, more importantly, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll take more of those nice little soft ones.
Yeah, I don't want to be on the end of one of these power bombs. You just saw Morrison deliver there. And a rejection there from the Mountaineers. It's Jesse Smith, who I think got the biggest chunk of that, but Jurak was also in the area. We'll get a look at that, yeah. I don't think so, says Jesse Smith, as he absolutely houses that attack coming from Miles Hampson, excuse me.
Power block.
Power block. Morrison. Absolutely the perfect kind of knuckler coming off the net that you could want, and another point as Mohawk will now extend their lead early on, as they have not conceded a point here so far in the second set. Brecken Morrison. Oh. And I think Jurak and Zakari both thought that one was going well out, but you could see pretty clearly from where we were sitting that just caught the inside line.
Bit of spin, so I think they thought it would keep spinning out, but stood still and sadly gets in the corner to halt some of that Mountaineer momentum.
Vito Forte here with the serve. Josh Taylor attempting to get the dig, but not quite able to get under that enough, as the Sheridan Bruins will break their goose egg here, get themselves on the scoreboard. Now trailing 4-1. Taylor. Morrison back to Taylor. Rejected. Oh. Zakari tried to keep it alive. I don't think Jordan Ho was quite ready for that one as it kind of hit his back shoulder. Oh. Just an error on the score clock there. Excuse me. It's 4-4.
There it is again, that bait and switch, the fake. Send it up. It looks like it's going to be a long setup, but instead it's right to Smith instead of going to Jurak.
So the power attacks continuing to rain down from the Mohawk Mountaineers. And that'll be an ace on the part of Josh Taylor.
It's definitely lucky, but you'll take any point you can get.
Taylor. She cannot thread the needle that time, as it ends up going well outside. And that one, ooh, a good bit of service there from number 19, Daniel Sass. Catches an inside corner off the line. And that will be too many touches there, I believe, on the part of Sheridan.
It's the first time we've ever seen that in any of the games. I've never seen that before.
So we'll see 1, 2. I think there was a fourth touch there you couldn't see, but yeah, count them up. That is one too many, unfortunately. Morrison. Taylor gonna set up Jurak. Rejected, kept alive there. Taylor to Zakari, and it catches off of a Sheridan defender and out of bounds for another Mohawk Mountaineers point.
It's pure velocity and strength there. So Mountaineers forcefully get that point.
And it is 8-5, although we seem to have an issue with the score clock there. And that one, a well-placed ball from the Sheridan Bruins. That was number 3, Caleb Whiteman, picking up a kill there for Sheridan to make it 8-6. That one not making it over the net, though. So now we will have Jurak, Alex Jurak here to serve. And a rejection there. Absolutely beautiful by Dean Zakari. Take a look at that. Bang.
Power block.
Power block. And this front line of the Mountaineers is making an impact in this second set. With Jurak getting another chance to serve here. Will be returned. That time, though, the rejection was not successful as it hit the wrong side of the net off of a couple of Mountaineers blockers.
That one kept alive by the Bruins. Taylor. Morrison with the kill this time to keep the lead going for the Mountaineers.
And now we will have Dean Zakari here to serve. That one not finding its way over the net, however.
Just for all the viewers, we do have a bit of a scoreboard malfunction. It is 11-9. We'll hopefully get that sorted very quickly.
A little bit closer than it appears on your screen. But that time, Andrew Majuras just sends it down the throat of the Sheridan Bruins defense, and they are not equipped to handle that kind of power.
Well, a lot of people aren't, Matt.
No, I'm not. Hey, I'm right there with them, Harrison. Don't get me wrong.
Me too.
But, yeah, absolutely electric there from Andrew Majuras, who sends it over. And
Wow.
it looks like he's going to go. They're going to say it was a tip.
Deflected, yeah.
Deflected, so that will be an ace there from Majuras, who placed that excellently. Probably would have went out of bounds, but fortunate to get a nice bit of a deflection there. This one, though, able to be handled. Taylor trying to get that one with a quick return, but unfortunately there was a Sheridan defender in the area. I believe that was Andrew Boney there, rejecting that one.
An
Taylor,
important block.
yeah, absolutely. This time Taylor gets it over with a finesse. And that block ruled out, unfortunately. So Taylor was there, Morrison was there. I believe it was Taylor who got all of that ball, but it did not find its way back into play. Nicely timed, though. That one finding its way into the zone from Jesse Smith.
No, actually
It was overturned?
overturned, yeah, by the head referee I guess he has the final say in the situation in those 50-50s.
Oh, there with a nice dig. Zakari just has to send that over. And a rejection there. See what the ruling is. And that does go in favor. Was a clean block there by Josh Taylor. And now we will have Morrison back at the service line. We know how devastating he was. Again, if you're joining us, it is not 14-0. I believe it's 14-9 now. We're just having a bit of a scoreboard malfunction. Hopefully we'll get that resolved. Boney keeping that in play. Morrison over to Taylor. This time, there's no dice. He ran into Daniel Sass and the Sheridan defense there with a quick rejection. And now we have the correct score, 14-13, excuse me, as Sheridan has really drawn this one close. Make it 15-13 now. That one didn't find its way into the field of play. Now we will have a substitution here with Keon Elke checking into the game for his first bit of action. Getting a chance at the service line right off the bat.
First sub for the Mountaineers so far in this one.
Also Ben Puskas is in there for Jordan Ho. There's Elkin.
No. Can't touch the net, and that would have been a great play, but the hand gone onto the net. And
yep, Daniel Sass has looked dangerous around the net, but like you said that time, just a little too overzealous making contact with the net.
Give credit there to the Sheridan Bruins head coach, who even when his players were saying no, he was saying yep.
That one sent back by Jurak and Smith. That time, Elkin to Morrison. And that one not finding the inside. Oh, was that overruled again there? Let's take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, it was overruled.
It was overruled, so Dean Zakari will pick up the point there. And Keon Elke not finding the inside of the line there, missing the zone a little bit. So now we will see Daniel Sass, who's had a good set so far for the Bruins. Referee giving an explanation there to Jurak in regards to that infraction. I believe there was possibly something wrong with, they weren't set at the serve there. That time, Daniel Sass not making it over the net.
I think that's redemption. After the mistake, the Mountaineers get it back.
So Majura is coming back into the game. And then we have number 14. That will be Jonathan Harrison making his first appearance in the game. With the Mountaineers up 5 points, 18-3, looking to get up 2-0 overall in sets. Harrison will be serving it up here. Morrison over to Elke. Jurak keeps that one alive, and now it comes back to him. So we have to get this one over. And that one finds a gap in the Mohawk defense, finds a corner that no one was in. So quickly now, Jesse Smith will come back in. Jordan Ho will come back in, so just a quick tactical rest for those two. Some changes on the side of Sheridan there with Thomas Kuzma.
I mean, both teams, for different reasons, know how important this set is. Obviously, The Mountaineers would love to go up 2-0. The Bruins know they don't want to go down 2-0 and they want to tie this up.
Elke to Morrison to Majuras, not in the zone though. Correction, is in the zone. Majuras finding the inside of the line there. Yeah, get a good look at it there. Oh.
Must have deflected.
Must have deflected there.
Fingertips.
Must have, yeah, clearly missed outside. Must have been a deflection.
Yeah,
Our apologies.
There's no other reason for that being called other than a deflection.
Absolutely. So now we will have Alex Jurak here to serve. Jurak finds a sweet spot there for a nice ace.
Mountaineers now only 5 points away, Matt. Up 20-16. Looking to close it out.
See if Jurak can inch them a little bit closer to that goal. Won't happen though, as that one does not find its way over the net. So now we will have service from Connor Thompson. Zakari finds Morrison over. It's Jurak. Ludwig there. Jurak. And there we go. We have a Dean Zakari kill, as they had another little pump fake action there with Majuras. Looked like he was going for it, and we'll have some players checking in and out. As Jordan Ho will be relieved in favor of Ben Puskas.
With that blonde hair, he's like Thor bringing down the hammer.
Absolutely. A lot of good flow in this match. Dean Zakari there, finding a beautiful looking ace with another powerful strike from the service line. Now they are up by 9 points.
The hammer's coming down, Matt.
Hammer is coming down here in the hammer. And these Mohawk Mountaineers are looking to get themselves in a nice position to come away with a victory overall here today. But it all starts with these next 3 points. And with Dean Zakari at the service line. And that was a nice return there from, I believe, Dryden Chenchek. At the feet of Alex Jurak. Not able to recover that one. Morrison and Josh Taylor looking for a powerful strike. Was deflected back off of him and out of bounds.
He gets the result he wanted. Maybe not the kill he wanted, but
yeah,
the point.
That one actually went back off the net and out. Majuras here. Off a Tran. Zakari to Morrison, who got a nice return. Zakari to Morrison. Taylor off a Tran and well out of bounds. So good bit of team play there. Everyone on the same page, and Taylor that time got all of that ball.
Yep, and now one more point for the Mountaineers to take the set and go up 2-0, which would be huge.
And it will be Andrew Majuras serving it up. Taylor. And the rejection kept alive. So Josh Taylor with a beautiful rejection, but then the Sheridan players showing a lot of fight there. Keeping that one going. Take a look at that. Tran. And then Daniel Sass with a nice little put away. Looked like that one might have been the set, but here we are.
Bruins making some more changes, at least try to keep fresh legs, and you know how badly they want to force overtime.
And Bonnie now at the service line. Ludwig came back into the game for the Bruins as well there. Morrison over to Smith. And there will be an infraction, a net infraction, I believe, and that will wrap it up.
Yeah, I think it was either a net infraction or a double touch, and the Mountaineers take a commanding 2-0 series lead.
Either way, the Mountaineers will be in a great position to come away with a sweep in this one as they switch sides yet again. And if you're Sheridan now, your back is really up against the wall here, Harrison.
Did you enjoy saying that as they walked past us, Matt?
I tried not to make eye contact. But at the end of the day, it is the situation they find themselves in here down, if you're just joining us, down 2-0 against the Mountaineers. And overall, I mean, it's been a pretty stellar game overall from just about everyone on the floor. I've really liked what Josh Taylor has done. Thought Jordan Ho has been underratedly good defensively. Dean Zakari, and then Andrew Majiras, not only from the service line, but as a striker as well, has played excellently. So, yeah, it's hard to pinpoint just one player when everyone on the team has really showed up.
We will get on our way now some more highlights to keep you invested so you don't just have to hear me and Matt talking. Really, after the first set, you know, where the defense might have been lacking for both teams, the defense has picked it up, but again, the Mountaineers able to pull away, and this time, after winning the first set 25-15, they win 25-17, so only concede 2 more points.
Yeah, I think that the Sheridan defense, although we're going to see some highlights that makes point to the contrary, actually have played strong at points. I mean, they've made some excellent blocks. They've been recovering well, but sometimes these balls are just getting placed in the perfect spot. And we see there a nice block. There's Josh Taylor, a Jurek serve that found an absolutely perfect spot. This power on display from Mohawk, though, it is hard to contend with, even when you're playing excellent defense.
That's been the difference. Obviously, the placement has been great, and the soft touches have made the Bruins have to think twice, but the power has been the difference. We saw a bunch of those powerful shots that were able to be blocked, but not able to be kept into play.
And we'll see if there's some sort of adjustment on the Sheridan side that can find an answer to what seems to be an unbeatable attack from these Mountaineers players. See if we see any fresh faces in, as these sets have been long and tiring, I'm sure, on both sides of the ball. But it would be a joyous day for everyone here at Mohawk College if we wrap this one up with back-to-back 3-0 wins from both our men's and women's teams against a, close rival in Sheridan, just down the highway there, just down the QEW, east of us. And looking back, I mean, not that the women's, they have had such a dominant record against Sheridan as the women have, but they are 6-4 in their last 10 games against the Sheridan Bruins men's team. So not exactly, 4 straight years now without giving up a set, but still, they've had success against this team in the past.
It's a positive record, and they'll be looking to build on it here tonight. What a story it would be for both the men and women to sweep the Bruins, men and women, as we'll have the serve master himself, Brecken Morrison, to start us off in the third set.
And they got 25 points to make that happen, but they will be 25 hard-fought points. Tran sends that over, and that is out of bounds. Unfortunately, it looked like a good dig, but a little too much, as now Brecken Morrison will get a second chance here to rack up more points. He'd love to get his squad up by a good margin before having to respond as Kennedy gets a dig there. Morrison keeps it alive. Taylor puts it over. Kennedy, Boney, Tran, and a rejection. Get that out of here, says Josh Taylor, as he absolutely climbs the ladder to reject that. Take a look at that. No way. No way he was letting that get by him.
Very impressive save by Morrison, and that diving to his right, one arm. So the Mountaineers save that, then defend beautifully.
Brecken Morrison again. That one off of Kennedy. Over to Boney. Thompson gets that over. Morrison kept alive. Kennedy will just put that one over. Stop time. Sheridan able to respond. Morrison back to Jurak, rejected by some Sheridan players. That time Taylor trying to find a soft spot. Kennedy's there though. Boney into the hands of Zakari. Jurak attack is rejected again as a rally is really building here now. Morrison. And that time Zakari not able.
Deflected, Matt.
Deflected, just as I was saying.
It seemed like it.
It didn't, it was, I mean, it must have just caught a couple fingertips. We'll see what, it must have been right at the net. Let's have a look here. Yeah, must have caught a fingertip, but the ref's right there. He knows. He knows.
The replay didn't give it justice. From my perspective, it looked like the ball just went, kept going over. So I was like, how the heck did that happen? And clearly a deflection.
So Brecken Morrison racking up the points. That one will not find its way into play as he'll pick up a nice little ace there as they're now sitting 3-1 in this third set. And yeah, you previewed him in the pregame, Harrison, and it has make it 4-0. Excuse me there. That's what I thought. I don't think anyone else has served. And yeah, like you said, you previewed him, and he has really come through with his services. And that one, yeah, under the net foul there, I believe by Jesse Smith. He tried to keep a ball that was rejected. You see rejected there, tried to keep it up. That would be a lift, actually.
Finally put an end to that big Mountaineer run.
That's a big win, actually, for Sheridan as Brecken Morrison was looking hot. Jurak with a feisty-looking attack over to Tran. That one, though, not finding its way into play, as now we will have Josh Taylor here, who's had a big impact on this one. Taylor's to Tran to Boney. Morrison. And it looks like that one from Jesse Smith went off of a Sheridan player and out of bounds.
Yeah,
Yep.
the block was made, but wasn't able to elevate it.
Not out of bounds, but directly down. And now Josh Taylor with a second serve. Bit of a heater over to Boney. Smith keeping that one alive to Jurak. Good reflexes there by my co-host, Harrison Myers.
Got to put in some of the work a little bit.
They're keeping us on our toes for sure that today. It's about the fourth time we've been dodging the action. Feel like we're right in the middle of it.
We've been lucky that no missiles have come our way.
Vito Forte with the serve. Morrison over to Jurak, but a little bit too hot on that one as it misses the zone. So Vito Forte will get another shot here. Great name, by the way.
I agree.
Vito Forte.
It seems menacing.
It does.
He's probably the nicest guy ever.
Probably, but he sure does have a nice looking serve there. To Morrison. Taylor keeps it alive. But the referee rules in the favor of the Bruins, who are looking to scrape their way back to even here early on in the third set.
6-1. They've now gone on a 3-point run. And with Vito Forte with these serves rivaling Morrison.
There's Morrison. And just like that, there's Dean Zakari.
As long as those don't come our way, we'll be okay.
Exactly. We're happy to, push away the average, deflection, but a Dean Zakari powerbomb like that I will have no part of, as Ludwig tried to dig that one up but could not get enough of it. Now Smith, Kennedy, over to Tran. He's had a bit of a mixed bag of a day. I mean, he's had a couple plays like that, been targeted a little bit defensively. But I think he's probably drawn even in terms of, errors and then kills. That one nicely placed. It's Daniel Sass, another player who's had a strong day. We'll check out Sorry, not nicely placed. That one missed the zone. As Jurak, hard to tell from our angle there what in that kind of area, but Jurak now at the line. He's been a stalwart for this Mohawk team, hasn't really come out of the game at all. Morrison. Zakari. Attack is deflected off of somebody and sailed out of bounds, so he racking up the offensive stats here in this third set.
Mountaineers trying to pull away once again after that 3-point Bruin run, now back up to 4.
Jurak's serve is a deadly one. Tran had to kind of get out of position to even get a chance on that one, but.
Yeah, Jurak and Zakari, similar blonde hair, and just like Thor, they're putting the hammer down.
Absolutely. As they, yeah, Jurak really has killed that run that the Bruins were trying to make to even it up. That one off of Kennedy, high in the air to Boney, over to Tran. Morrison wanted to do it all himself that time. Normally the set man, a little bit too hot, missing the outside of the zone by a fair margin.
Not the worst idea. I mean, you know, a lot of this game is consistency, and as you said, Morrison's been the set man, so at times you're going to be open on that shot. Right idea, just wrong execution.
Hampson had the serve there. Taylor tried to get that one over to Morrison. It was a little too close to the net, and it was in Tran's wheelhouse as he absolutely rejected that one, housed it, and now Hampson will have another opportunity here. Serve. He's been in and out of the game, but looked good here in the third set. Fortunately, that one not finding its way into play.
Castor Kirsch strikes once again. You know, it transcends any sport, any team that the Mountaineers play, any athlete.
It sure does.
It's unbelievable, really.
And Dean Zakari serving for your Mountaineers now. And that time, Caleb Whiteman with a nice looking kill there. Take a look at that. Found a sweet spot there where Zakari couldn't quite get to. So now we will have number 22, Jason Tran, serving. Zakari there. Did not find a bit of the zone, unfortunately, but he had a lot of thunder on that one. Actually wasn't too far out. You get a look at that there. Missed the line by maybe a foot or so at most.
Felt like maybe that deflected off a Bruin defender, but no call from the ref.
Taylor to Morrison, back to Taylor, rejected, but rejected out of bounds. Look at that. As now we will have Andrew Majiras, who has been one of the highlights from the service line all game with a handful of bombs that Sheridan could not handle. We'll see if he continues that streak here. Majiras. That one hit well, but able to be returned as Hampson gets that one over. Morrison looking to set up. It's Jurak who finds a soft spot, but it's kept alive there by Kennedy. As now we have a rally going. And that time, Jesse Smith offered up a attack that was not returned by Sheridan. We'll have a look at that one. It wasn't the biggest of power bombs, but obviously just caught Hampson, I think, surprised that it came his way as they kind of reversed the flow a little bit of that.
Give credit to Smith. He's had a couple of those sneaky shots, and double dive from the Sheridan Bruins, not enough.
And I think that time Josh Taylor was thinking that would catch just a little too far outside on the curve, but unfortunately he watched it drop into play just right in front of him. You see that there. Yeah, just 6 inches to the right and he would have been golden. As Whiteman serves it. There's Ho. Taylor gets another shot here. Rejected by Jesse Smith.
Once again, it's not hard. It's just perfect from Smith. And he continues in this set and in this entire game to just be smooth.
This front line, who's ever up there, has really been spectacular for the Mohawk Mountaineers. As now we have got the man, the myth, the legend, Brecken Morrison here at the service line, seeing if he can't get a run to put this one away with 11 points still needed to be scored. Zakari trying to keep it alive. That one's put over to Sheridan. Boney. And that time, our boy Vito Forte got the put away. I think the kill is he found a nice little smushy spot in that defense as Brecken Morrison couldn't quite get underneath that for the dig. Now we've got Andrew Boney here, who will record an ace. And just like that, it's a 2-point game, and it's looking tight here. Looks like maybe this Sheridan team is not going to go down so willingly.
No, it's been close this entire set, even when the Mountaineers up by 4 and 3. It's never seemed like it's been out of the Bruins' way.
And that time, Daniel Sass with an emphatic kill. And maybe the Mountaineers thinking timeout soon just to collect themselves and ice this red-hot Sheridan attack that is 1 point away from drawing even for their first time this set. Unfortunately, that one will not be the point as it does not make its way over the net.
That's a bailout. That is you will 100%, as you said, that the Bruins offense was getting loud, and for good reason. They were building some momentum, and that is a huge bailout for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, that was a point they will definitely want to have back if things don't go their way the rest of the way. Morrison to Jurak is returned here by Vito Forte. He's kept alive by Jurak. Put over the net by Taylor. Boney to Forte. Jesse Smith to Morrison to Jurak. Finds a good spot at the back line.
What a great rally right there, and great series of adjustments from the Mountaineers. I mean, we saw the soft touches getting to them in the last couple points, but this time they adjusted. There was no extremely, other than at the first point of that rally, there was one dive, and then after that, they were all over the soft touches. Absolutely,
like you said, this set, I think this series set rather, we've seen more good rallies than we have probably all night in either game. And in that little intermission there, we had a substitution with Boney coming off, and I believe that was number 12. Tyson Marias coming on for Sheridan as he gets a set there to Forte, who gets a nice deflection. So yeah, this Sheridan team has kicked it up a notch, I think it's fair to say. I think they maybe realized they were looking down the barrel of a 3-0 sweep, and they have decided to bring the action here. Vito Forte back at the service line with a nice serve off of Taylor to Morrison to Smith. Smith kept that one in the air. Now Jurak will try to house that. It is returned though. Tran, Taylor, Morrison, Zakari kept alive, and Ludwig tried to get the dig. Clearly bothered. But that one was not kept alive. Let's take a look here. You can see Zakari with a big hit off of Ludwig. And Hampson just not ready for that one to come his direction, as now we got Jesse Smith at the service line. Gets a bit of the net, but finds its way to Forte. Must have been a infraction on Majiras there on the rejection. Maybe got a little too much of the net, perhaps. So now we're going to have Daniel Sass, who has been a highlight for me on the Sheridan team. I think he's really played well at some great moments. Ho to Morrison to Taylor, and he can't thread the needle there. Misses the zone. And this Sheridan team's getting loud again.
It's a 1-point game, 17-16, and first at 25, it is coming down on the wire, and these next couple points will be everything.
Daniel Sass would love to be the catalyst for his team getting a win here in set number 3. Morrison to Jurak. And a beautiful kill there as he finds a corner where no one is, and he absolutely bullets this one. Look at that. Bang right there. About a foot inside the zone. And now he will be at the service line. He is the team captain, and he is absolutely one of the leaders here today. Hampson rejected. I believe it was Majiras there. Maybe a little help from Dean Zakari.
They can sense it now, the Mountaineers. They know how close they are to closing this out. Now they want, how desperately they want to close it out. You don't want to give a team like Sheridan Bruins a chance to even think about coming back.
Certainly not. A team you're very familiar with playing. The last thing you want to do is give them a sign of life. Zakari to Morrison to Jurak. That's rejected. And they cannot. That was a quick rejection. That fell just inside the line, shallow in the zone. As Boney is coming back into this one. Marai's coming back out. And a timeout coming here from Mohawk. And Sheridan is happy. I mean, they're only down 2 points. This one is looking like it's going to be tight right down to the 25th point. If it doesn't take more than that in this one, Harrison.
It's the first timeout called, I think, all game for either one of these teams.
Sheridan may have had one in the first set.
May have one, yeah.
But anyway, for a considerable amount of time, it's the first timeout called.
I think it shows each coaching staff having trust in their team, you know, not wanting to halt momentum, give their players a chance even when they're down 4 points, as we saw the Bruins be in this set. No timeout was called until now for the Mountaineers, and I think it's a sign that they want to finish off this set now.
Absolutely. This is the time to put this one away. You've kind of had Sheridan's number essentially the whole game, except for this. I mean, you're still up, so obviously, you know, Sheridan hasn't came all the way back, but they've certainly shown that they belong on the court with you, if nothing else. So last thing you want to do is let a 3 straight, you know, set comeback start here, and we'll see if they can close it out. They need 6 points. Sheridan needs 8. Who will come out on top? As we have Hampson serving on the Bruins side. Morrison sets it up for Majiras with a soft touch there. Absolutely found a sweet spot. He has been stellar all game, come into this set and absolutely been a difference maker. Take a look at that.
Went from right to left. I mean, what a transition for Majiras.
Hampson definitely not ready for that change of direction. Taylor over to Morrison, the set man, over to Jurak. Kennedy got some of that over to Tran now. And just like that, the story of this set continues because it is all about response for the Sheridan team, and that's what has kept them alive so far. They're still only, again, 2 points down, and that's what you're going to have to do if you want to get yourself a chance to get back into this game. Train here. Taylor, Morrison, Jurak again. They're feeding him lots this set. Boney over to Hampson. Ho over to Taylor from Morrison, rejected. Contact with the net. Contact with the net. And there we go. It's a 3-point deficit again. And that was another good rally. We've seen quite a few of those start to build as these teams are really showing that they are a lot closer than the score in terms of sets may suggest.
Definitely, Matt.
And Majiras serving that one up. There's Vito Forte over to Boney, over to Hampson. And he gets the kill as that one is not able to be hauled in by Dean Zakari. Now Caleb Whiteman at the service. One of the taller players, 6'5", on that Sheridan Bruins team. Morrison setting up Zakari, but a rejection there. I believe that's by the man, the myth, the legend on the Sheridan side, Vito Forte. Let's take a look here and see who got the most of that one. Looks to me like our boy Vito is getting his, or pulling his weight, I should say. So Whiteman has another serve. Taylor. And this front line, that was Sass, I believe, got Daniel Sass, as they are going to be even here. I mean, it's absolutely like brilliant to see from this Sheridan team, not giving up.
What a comeback.
It's anyone's set at this point. Taylor with another chance. That one kept alive by Jesse Smith. Kept alive by Morrison that time. Another rejection. That one from Taylor. I have to say, I think that attack was getting a little predictable. I think you need to reverse the flow if you're Mohawk. I know you're keeping it alive, so you're just trying to do whatever you can, but 3 straight sets to the same spot, to the same striker. And now Josh Taylor's going to be subbed out in favor of Keon Elke, as they are now, for the first time in a long time, down a point.
Yeah, great comeback from the Bruins. Just a bit too predictable from the Mountaineers. Need to switch up the sides here.
Caleb Whiteman with a serve. He's had a run. Elke to Morrison to Zakari.
Wow. That's a bad point to give away. You had all the momentum, everything going your way, and that's how it ends for the Bruins. Obviously, they probably weren't going to score on that, but
probably not.
For
but
that,
nonetheless, I mean, a point given away at this, yeah, especially when that number 15, Brecken Morrison, is sitting at the service line, and we know how devastating he's been. Some confusion from the bench of Sheridan about substitution, I believe, but Boney will stay in the game. Like I said, Brecken Morrison, who has done tons of damage to the Sheridan Bruins from the service line, is there once again. Forte over to Boney, able to respond to Hampson, and he has a devastating power bomb. That's the way to respond. That is the way to respond, as Kennedy and Ludwig will swap out now. As this is clutch time if you're Sheridan, and if you're Mohawk, you need to find a way to put this team away. And that one is going to be a deflection for a point as it hits Tran, trying to keep that alive. May have gotten away with it. I mean, always hard to say if he had let it go, but nonetheless, it will end as a deflection out of bounds. And we are all even at 23 apiece.
it's clutch. Going to come down to 2 points.
Here's Elke. Saved by Kennedy. Over to Hampson now. The rejection kept alive. Have to put over now. Kennedy to Boney. Morrison has it. Over to Zakari. Tran keeps it alive to Boney to Hampson. Zakari over to Jurak. Has to get it over. Tran to Boney. This set is built. Rally's building nicely. That's out of bounds. And now the Sheridan Bruins are 1 point away from staying alive in this game. And there will be a timeout here taken by your Mohawk Mountaineers, as they are going to need to game plan these next 2 points here. Well, they are going to hope for 2 points. It may just be 1.
Yep, and if the game stays, if the Mountaineers are able to get the next point, making it 24-24, then we go to overtime, where it's first team to get 2 points in a row, Matt, will win it. So even if, say, the Bruins score the first point in overtime, then if the Mountaineers score again, then we keep going. So technically, this could go on forever.
This could technically go on forever. I have a feeling we will have a winner soon enough. To me, the Sheridan Bruin team seems like they are a lot hungrier than Mohawk. I don't know if they just need some substitutions. I mean, they're playing well still, don't get me wrong, but it just seems like Sheridan has the fire in them right now, and Mohawk needs to dig deep within themselves, maybe just take this 2 minutes here and, you know, find some energy, because you're going to need it here. I mean, obviously you're still going to be up 2-1 if you lose. It's not the end of the world. You still are ahead. But the way that this has been going for Sheridan, it feels like you need to cut off this momentum right now.
It's momentum is everything, and when you're down 0-2 for the Bruins, 1 series win is all you can need to bring it back. So the Mountaineers would love to not let that happen and to finish it off right here.
And we're going to see Thomas Kuzma come into the game, so there will be One switch, I believe it's for Jesse Smith here, yep, as Kuzma comes in. So at least one fresh pair of legs out there, along with Ho, Jurak, Morrison, Zakari, and Elke, who's still relatively fresh. Vito Forte at the service line here. Ho to Morrison. And that will be a overtime as we have an infraction there. And Sheridan not pleased with that, as they know they were on the verge of completing that comeback right there, as we get a look at that net contact.
Sorry about that language if you heard that. It was not us, it was coach. As now, as I said, it's like I'm a prophet again, and
here we go, Harrison. Just
win by 2.
Win by 2, good time. Hampson with an absolute laser of a strike that wasn't able to be recovered on the part of the Mountaineers, as it went off of Morrison. And now Daniel Sass, who helped start this comeback, gets to Elke, to Morrison, and Andrew Majiras.
And here we go. This is what happened in the women's match in the first game I commentated. It was, I think it got to 27-27.
It certainly looks like the way these two are going back and forth that it could get up to that, if not higher. Maybe in for a Blue Jays game 2 kind of situation here. Ho to Morrison. Jurak sends it over. Vito Forte over to Boney. And the Bruins are going to pick up a point off of an infraction here called by the far side referee near us. So now they have advantage. And they have Hampson at the line. He's been a big part of this comeback as well, playing almost all this set. Morrison stuffed, however, and he is stuffed. Just like that, Sheridan stays alive. Comeback complete. 27-25 is the end final score of the third set. So just like that, the Sheridan Bruins are not going away quietly. They have more life left in them, and we will see more volleyball here today. Still have a long way to go to complete this comeback in terms of sets, but that is a great first step, and they showed a lot of heart there, Harrison.
I think keyword is not going away quietly. I think we'd love to see more energy and maybe just louder voices from the Mountaineer bench help out those players, but nothing to be ashamed about. You were playing on the back foot once you took the lead if you're Mohawk, and you were still able to bring it back and force overtime. Obviously, not the result they would have wanted, but you still have another set. You definitely want to win it here and silence these Bruins.
And we will take a really brief intermission, and we will rejoin you at the start of the fourth set. start back up here with set number 4. If you're just joining us, Sheridan mounted a great comeback in set number 3 to stay alive. They're now down 2-1, preventing the double sweep. They're going to start with Boney at the service line. Morrison keeps it alive to Taylor, misses the zone. So the goodwill of Sheridan from that second set, Harrison, is bleeding over just in the first point here, but still.
Yeah, I would love to see some adjustments from the Mountaineers, especially on those kills that they go for. Hasn't really worked well against this Bruin defense that's adjusted very well.
As Zakari sends that one over for Taylor. Boney now to Sass. Ho over to Morrison, setting up Taylor again. That time he does it well, and that was good. I mean, I think what they did so well in the first set especially was just their decision-making in terms of where they were attacking, where they were attacking from, reversing the flow, things like that. It just seemed to get a little bit stale in the last one, and that led to, you know, an opportunity for the Sheridan team that they capitalized on to get back in the game.
No, that's what he needs to do. They need to locate these kills, these smashes. You can't just put everything you have on it. You got to find your spot.
And Brecken Morrison getting back to his excellent service that he has been displaying all game. He will be a big part of getting them back into the win column and closing this one out. So we'll see if he can get them up early on in set number 4 as they're now winning 2-1. Morrison. And that one misses the zone as he tried to catch the right side of that Sheridan defense lacking. And now Vito Forte, one of the most key pieces of the Sheridan comeback in the last set. Taylor over to Morrison, sets up Jesse Smith, who finds a nice bit of room in there. And just like that, they're kind of getting back to that game we saw them do earlier. Hopefully they can continue and keep it going throughout this set.
He's the smooth operator. All of his shots, everything he does is just smooth, and he does it to perfection.
Josh Taylor serving it up. That's Kennedy to Boney to Sass. Morrison there. Ho is going to set up Jurak. And Forte's there, and now it's over to Hampson. And that one looked like one off the head. Looked like that might have caught Jesse Smith in the head as the point will go Sheridan's way, getting deflected out of bounds. I believe it was off of the cranium of a Mohawk player there. And now Daniel Sass at the service line. Zakari was there. Miscommunication there will lead to, well, it would have led to a Mohawk. Sorry, we're just waiting to, okay, so yeah, the miscommunication does lead to a Sheridan point as it didn't look like Brecken Morrison and Jesse Smith were on the same page there. Sass serves it up. There's Zakari. Morrison sets up Jurak. Puts that right at the feet of Andrew Boney.
That's what you need to do. That's the success that we talked about in the first 2 sets for the Mountaineers was the misdirection.
Exactly. We need to get back to their bread and butter here. Is now Jesse Smith getting a turn to serve. Just a little too much sauce. Now, Miles Hampson serving it. Another key piece of the comeback in the last set. Josh Taylor looking for the dig, couldn't get it. And Sheridan's carried this momentum they've built from the last set into this one, and they're up 6-4 now.
Starting to pull away on their own, and the Mountaineers would love to shut this down.
Majira's into the game for the Mountaineers.
You got to take advantage of that. It's not going to happen often. A miscue when you have all the momentum. Mohawk needs to capitalize and try to start a run of their own.
See if Alex Jurak can be the catalyst at the service line here. Only down a point. A little too much mustard on that serve. So the lead extends back to 2 for the Sheridan Bruins over the Mohawk Mountaineers. Now Jason Tran for Sheridan. Taylor's there. He gets it to Morrison, who's going to find Zakari. They're able to get under that, and Forte will just get it over to Jurak. Morrison is going to get a deflection off of Tran, and that will be a point. Good-looking rally on both sides, but inevitably it will go in favor of your Mohawk Mountaineers.
Yeah, just great decision there by Morrison. We talked about it. Sometimes as the set piecer, go for it. He's done it a few times. Missed, I think, in the 2 other tries, but this time made no mistake.
Zakari with a good-looking serve. Jurak tried to get under there, but it was just a little too spicy for him to make a good play on. Have a look at that.
This is obviously still early in this fourth set, but right now not looking good for the Mountaineers in terms of momentum. You definitely would not want to give this Bruins team a chance in a 5th and final set in overtime.
Whiteman with the serve. And Andrew Majiras doing what he's done pretty much all game. And yeah, I mean, playing from behind just isn't something they've had to do a lot of despite the comeback. And now some changes here as players check back in. Jesse Smith and Brecken Morrison. Majiras at the service line. Tran's going to find Boney. Sets up Hampson. Now Dean Zakari over to Taylor. And the rejection, or attempted rejection, from the Sheridan front line ends up going out of bounds.
Big battle back for the Mountaineers. Now 8-8. Still a lot of volleyball to be played. And we'll have to see where this game goes.
Majiras, another big server along with Brecken Morrison on this Mohawk side.
Huge, huge. If they can keep this up.
They're going to need a nice swing in points here. Regardless, as Keon Elke is back into the game on the Mohawk Mountaineers side.
Taylor seemed to have a muscle cramp from what I heard is why he's checking off.
He's been an important piece. Andrew Majiras gets a deflection, another huge serve. And we talked about Brecken Morrison swinging the momentum with his serves, but Andrew Majiras is just as capable of doing that, and we'll get a timeout.
That was, I think, 4 points, maybe 5 points in a row for the Mountaineers. Good timeout to be called, and as you said, Majiras, I mean, majestic smash.
Absolutely a blistering rocket. And I think if you're Sheridan, yeah, you're going to try to ice what is a very hot hand on the other side. Both teams still not digging deep into their bench, sticking with their, you know, kind of top players. Their rotation's still very limited, but I mean, I think you're going to probably maybe save that for a 5th set if that was necessary. But so far, no one looking overly fatigued.
No one looking too fatigued. I think both teams want a victory. Obviously, I think that's a cliche thing to say and very obvious, but I think for the Bruins, you want to get this to a 5th set. You've already invested a lot in this. You had that insane comeback in that 3rd set. And if you're the Mountaineers, you've invested a lot too. You're up 2-0. You look really comfortable. And now you're forced to battle back and dig deep. And so far in this 4th set, you have. You've taken a 2-point lead, went on a 4-point run, and forced a timeout. And now you just got to keep going.
Yeah, they maybe got caught playing with house money a little bit in that 2nd set. They had nothing to lose, essentially. And, you know, the Bruins had everything to lose, and they seem to want it a little bit more. And maybe the timeout working well as the hot hand of Majiras will miss his opening serve coming out of that timeout. So he'll be subbed out in favor of Ho for the moment. Boney with the serve. There's Elke setting up Dean Zakari.
Bait and switch.
Bait and switch there. Cha-ching, that was an absolute money shot right in the perfect spot there.
Credit to Jesse Smith and all the Mountaineer players doing everything in their power to sell the kill.
That serve will not find its way into the play of field there. The Mountaineers up 11-10 now. As we get into the middle part of this fourth set. Huge dig there from Ho, setting up Jurek. Yeah, there you go.
Wow, as you said, Ho basically gained that point for the Mountaineers beautifully with that dig. I mean, diving, and then, of course, leaving it, making sure that it was getting out, and Jurek as well with the big kill.
Absolutely. Credit to both men, but yeah. Jordan Ho absolutely contributing defensively there. The rejection kept alive by Sheridan. Hampson has to get it over. There's Ho again. Now Morrison will set up Elke, who keeps it, unfortunately, not in bounds. Oh, rather it was in bounds.
It's a snipe, Matt.
It was a snipe. It was such a snipe. I missed it. Let's see.
Oof.
How about that? Looked like it missed the outside line, but in fact, it was an absolutely pinpoint accuracy shot. That one into the net to keep this one within a couple of points.
That's always the worst point you can really give up, especially when you have all the momentum. If you're the Mountaineers, you're trying to pull away and make sure this does not go to a fifth set.
There's Ho again. Morrison setting up Zakari. There's a rejection, but it does not stay in play. So the Mountaineers up to 3.
It's Jordan Ho, very excited about that one, has his arms up.
As he should be. He's having an absolutely outstanding set. He'll get a breather in favor of Andrew Majiras, who has also been important. But yeah, Jordan Ho, I think, playing his best volleyball of the night tonight, or right now, I should say. There's Boney, and that's a rejection from Majiras.
Jordan Ho was actually one of the really better players in the game that I was able to commentate. Great defensively and continues that, and Majiras as well. I mean, that is a big block from a big man.
Absolutely, one of the longer, taller players, standing at 6'5" on this Mohawk squad. Looks like he'll get the setup there from Morrison to Andrew Majiras.
You can't time it any better. We're saying all these great things, and then bang, the power bomb.
Absolutely. Everyone clicking on all cylinders again as Mohawk is up 16-11 now. Their biggest lead of the set. There's Boney. Vito Forte, unfortunately, can't keep it into the zone.
The run has begun, up by 6, and you will like to do what you didn't do in the last set. You do not want to allow any comebacks, any momentum swing.
No, you got to close this out. Elke. Hampson gets it over. Majiras to Morrison. To Zakari, kept alive by Boney. Now Tran. And that one rejected. Looks like Zakari was in the area. And it's the rejection gets deflected off of, I believe it was Boney there. And a timeout called to stop the bleeding. As this Mountaineer squad is rolling along now, Harrison, looking like there's nothing standing in their way at the moment from wrapping this game up.
Last time, though, it was the timeout that slowed them down. So, obviously, the timeout needed to be called by the Bruins. Definitely, as you said, the bleeding was getting big there, and the Mountaineers only needing 7 points now to finish this off. Just got to keep your foot on the gas pedal.
Absolutely. We've seen that face on the head coach of Sheridan, Liam Butchwright, quite a bit today. It's a look of frustration, but you know what? To his credit, he's coached this team very well. I mean, they've stayed in it. They mounted that comeback, and you know he's just pleading with them to dig deep once again, because if they've learned anything, it's that it is not over until it's over. So we'll see if he can have a little bit more timeout magic here. But if you're this Mohawk team and head coach Brad McClure, you're trying to find composure of your own and just tell you guys, hey, we are rolling. At this moment, we are, you know, a full step ahead of this Sheridan team, and we want to finish the game like that.
From the body language, it looks like they are flowing and they feel good.
This is crunch time. We'll see if they can execute. Forte to Boney to Hampson, and that will be a little bit peeking over the top there, unfortunately, and Sheridan will concede an unfortunate point at this stage.
Yeah, that's not what you wanted out of that timeout.
Certainly not. Kind of kills the reverse momentum you may have been trying to start. And Jesse Smith trickles one over the net. Hampson with a devastating zap shot right down the heart of this Mountaineer squad. And that's kind of what you were looking for, I think, coming out of a timeout. As now we will see some rotations with a player coming out. That's Boney, coming out. And Hampson in favor of Reimer and Marias on the Sheridan side. And Ho is back into the game on the Mohawk side. Let's see what Marias can do here. There's Elke to Morrison to Jurak off of the body of Forte. There's Ho with another good dig. Now Dean Zakari. Yeah, just inside, just in that little absolute, little sliver of room there was there. We'll see him just, find a spot just over the top of that front line of Sheridan.
The scoreboard does not do the Bruins justice how close this game feels. I genuinely feel like with a few points and the momentum switching, they could easily bring this back.
They really could. It does. You're definitely right. It doesn't feel like it has been a 20-12 set as this Sheridan team has played admirably. Now we're getting our first look at Adrian De Los Reyes in this one. Has a serve that Forte is able to find. And that will be another infraction on the part of Sheridan, unfortunately, who is just going to be kicking themselves if this ends up kind of being the end of their game, as they're not making it any easier. Tran to Marias. Reimer just gets that over. And now Zakari will have to do the same. There's Forte again to Marias, and a miscommunication and another misplay, putting this one even further out of reach, now down 10 with only 3 points to give for Mohawk to win.
Yeah, and that's just mistake after mistake. That 2 points right there that easily wouldn't have happened.
You will definitely want those back. And a rejection there from Majuras is sent back somehow. Brecken Morrison setting him up. And they're one step closer. We've seen that a number of times today. Brecken Morrison setting up Andrew Majuras.
I mean, it's worked every time they've done that. The short little center up to Majuras, and he has made no mistake.
Absolutely not. And De Los Reyes is going to probably check out of the game. He had a couple of good serves there, but that time not making it over. And Alex Jurak, the captain, back on the floor.
See if that misserve bites Mohawk.
Jurak fresh off the bench. Kept alive somehow there. That's incredible. Jurak again, he's all over the place. That was Brecken Morrison setting up Zakari. And now the Forte attempt was rejected. Zakari back over there. This one all over the place. Another rejection that time. Looks like Morrison and Majuras were in the area. I think Morrison may have gotten the biggest piece of that one. That one was back and forth. And credit to Alex Jurak on that rally, just keeping it alive when it looked like all hope was lost.
And now set and series point for the Mountaineers.
They're really putting their best foot forward at the most important time. Couldn't sneak it in there. That would have been a fun way to win it, but they will not get away with the ace. And now we will see a opportunity, one final opportunity really for this Sheridan Bruins team to mount a desperate comeback in a desperate time. And the man at the line for them will be Connor Thompson.
All the pressure on him has to get it into play. And for the Bruins to come back, you'll have to take the next 10 serves.
See if they can make magic happen. We've seen it play tonight. There's Ho to Morrison. That was Zakari setting it over, but it's kept alive. There's Connor Thompson. There's Tran. Zakari to Morrison, setting up Elke. And just like that, game, set, and match. Harrison And the Mohawk Mountaineers have won back-to-back games, the men's, the women's, both defeating the Sheridan Bruins here in the David Braley Athletic and Recreation Center. Overall, what'd you like from that performance?
Yeah, I mean, it was dominant. It was dominant, Matt. The Mountaineers, even though they dropped the third set, they were able to just dominate in all their series, all the set victories they had. They won by, I think, 10 points almost every single time. And other than that third set where they kind of blew the lead, it was very dominant.
Yeah, Dean Zakari and Brecken Morrison be a huge part of that. I'll have a look at some of their work here, starting with Brecken Morrison. Big night from the service line. Absolutely finding the sweet spots and the setup man of the night for sure. You can see him setting up Josh Taylor, set up Andrew Majuras a few times. There he's setting up Majuras. Another look at his excellent service. He has been one of the best players for this Mohawk team in both games they've played at home so far. Now we'll look at Dean Zakari, another player that was all over it, barely got off the court all night. He was great around the front of the net. Had some devastating kills, and yeah, I think those two guys really, along with the rest of that starting roster, were absolutely spectacular and essential for this Mohawk win.
Yep, the power bombs were laid as well as the hammer, and it did not come back up.
And that will about wrap up our coverage tonight. The Mountaineers, men's at least, remain undefeated at home in this volleyball season, improving to 2-2 on the year. We'll be back with some basketball action this Saturday, so please join us for that. And for everybody here at Mohawk College, we thank you for listening and have a good night.